in there.
We are now streaming. Giving this a go. First Aftershock Live test. Preview of hopefully what's to come with Patreon. Hopefully this goes pretty well as far as the stream and everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think it's going to go good.
We'll see.
I've got
we'd have that faith, maybe. You want to just... You just want to do this?
Let's just dive in, you know?
Let's see here. Well, waiting on YouTube here. Can I just wait? And Twitch. All right, let's do this thing, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Heartbreaker. I'm crushed. That hurt, man. That hurt so much.
Ugh.
Thunder lose double overtime in one of the most thrilling regular season games, I don't know, maybe that I've ever seen. The fact that the Thunder even had a chance to win this game is frankly incredible.
It's amazing. Like, the Spurs could not miss a damn shot.
They started 14 for 14 from three into the third quarter, which, by the way, is an NBA record.
Yeah. Didn't they say the Thunder had the record previously, which is, I couldn't remember when that was.
And Brett Dawson tweeted out, he didn't tweet out that it was the record, but he tweeted out that the Thunder they started a game 2 years ago in Russ's MVP season, 12 for 12 against the Jazz from three. And I totally forgot about it, but when he tweeted it out, I remembered. And it was shocking then, too, because it's not like that team was a good shooting team.
Yeah, the Spurs shot 84.2% from three. How do you do that?
That's crazy that it's sustained at that level. And how do you only shoot 19 threes in a double overtime game?
Yeah.
And you still score 154 points. Man.
I guess because of LaMarcus Aldridge, but...
A total flip in the style of game that you normally see from the Thunder, right? I mean, it's a total offensive game by both teams here. The fact that, like we said at the top, the fact that the Thunder were even in this game is incredible. I think they were down by as many as 15, maybe 13 was the most. Somewhere around there. Either way, 56 points, a career high from Marcus Aldridge, who has been pretty much a career Thunder killer. He always plays pretty well against the Thunder. And tonight, I didn't necessarily think Steven Adams was doing a bad job on him on a lot of those. He was making tough shot after tough shot.
Yeah, like we played pretty solid defense on him. I mean, they were sending doubles at him, like perfect times, and Adams was up in his face. Grant was up in his face. Grant actually was able to block, I think, at least two of his shots or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he just couldn't miss. And the Thunder seem to have a nice string of games where people can't miss against them right now. But yeah, the Spurs' biggest lead was 16, by the way.
Wow. God, man, it hurts because the Spurs played last night in Memphis. And
right, they were on a back-to-back and then just played 2 games, basically.
Right, you think they'd run out of gas here, and instead it kind of seemed like the Thunder were the ones to run out of gas. In the end, Russ didn't score. Russ played one of his best games of the season through regulation, and had some nice plays in the first overtime, but didn't score a single point in either overtime.
Yep.
And Paul George wasn't very good in the overtimes. He had a couple buckets, but had a couple bad turnovers, maybe just one bad turnover, whatever. He was kind of just a ghost, though. He wasn't really anywhere to be found.
Yeah, Russ definitely disappeared, like shooting-wise. I mean, he made some really nice plays, though. And he got Grant going. Like, Grant was really awesome in both overtimes. Like, it sucks that he ended up fouling out on, I guess that was a foul call. But
yeah, I know, man. It was tough. We never really got an angle to really see if that was truly a foul because Grant thought he blocked it. I mean, it was a physical game, and it's always going to be physical down the stretch in a game like this where both teams, you're in double overtime. Both teams desperately want to win. It starts to feel like a playoff game. You don't want to just waste that away and lose that game. But nothing seemed to go the Thunder's way.
Oh, as far as calls went.
Yeah.
Like every situation that was up to luck or the ball bouncing the right way or the refs calling the in a 50-50 situation.
Or replays. I think
did not, or yeah, looking directly at it, magnified by 10 times.
Right. I think.
No, that's
Spurs.
theirs.
Yeah.
It's theirs.
Yeah, it's always theirs.
All of them are theirs.
Says it
so
right
just
there
it's
on
theirs.
There's a little sticker over the screen. Spurs ball. Just says it. It's always Spurs ball.
I just go with that. Guy in the headphones says Spurs balls every time. Sounds a lot like Popovich.
Yeah, or R.C. Buford. Yeah, the play where they called it a shot clock violation. They go and review it. It grazes the rim. I thought it was off Aldridge. Every angle we saw on TNT looked like it was off Aldridge, which I have to believe the officials had another angle where they see it off of Grant. I have to believe.
The only thing I could think there was I know Grant's hand kind of was going towards that motion of that's baseline. And so maybe because the ball was going that way, they thought like he is the one that caused it.
And then he also plays for the Thunder.
Yeah, and that's mostly the reason.
Yeah.
Is because he wasn't on the Spurs.
But I think the one that was the worst is the damn PG at the end when it felt like the Thunder were dead in the water. And then, wow, a 4-point play gets you back in the game. Oh. You have a chance. How is that not? Okay, here's my question. How are they going to say that's not a 4-point play? How do they say it occurred before the shot? The foul.
It didn't.
Because it's not like PG dribbled the ball. It was from an out-of-bounds play. So in that situation, wouldn't it have been the same application as what happened in the Ferguson foul, where he gets called for the before the inbounds? Wouldn't it be the exact same thing?
You would think so. And also, like the main thing to me on that is that DeMar basically grabbed Steven's arm as PG's doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's practically in the air, and that's when he grabbed his arm, and that's when they called the foul, from what I could see. And it's just insane to me. I'm like, dude, how could you possibly, like, after all of this stuff has gone their way, like, give us that one? Like, it's probably not even going to end up mattering, but it would at least make me feel better.
In such a back and forth, exciting game too. Down the stretch, it felt like the officials were the ones that took over the game, and that's annoying to me. When Paul George got the technical, which you got to blame Paul a little bit too.
Yeah, I mean, don't do that in that game, but stop also arguing. Like Antonio Daniels tweeted to somebody. He said, if that was a tech, then everybody in the league wouldn't be playing. Like. They would all be fouled out.
Well, especially at that point ejected. In the game. Like,
yeah.
I there's a lot of people out there that'll say if you call it in the first quarter, you got to call it in the fourth quarter. Well, that's just not how it goes, and that's never how it's gone. Yeah. So you can't just pick and choose when you want to do that. And I think that's actually the people that make that point. Like, if you're going to call it in the first quarter, call it in the fourth quarter. The reason they say that is because you can't pick and choose. But the fact is they do, and that's what makes fans like us, people like us, angry. Later on when we go and look at this game afterwards, and we're like, how do you call that in a game that's this close on a play that's that important when,
he really didn't do that much.
Right. He just threw his hands in there.
He just said, he hit my arm.
Yeah. And which he did, by the way.
Yeah, he did hit his arm, and you missed the call.
This
kind of your fault on both of them.
Right. So if it is your fault, like, at least have the decency to say, okay, it was my fault. I'm not going to tee you up here, but just carry on and keep playing. But instead you make it 10 times worse by doing that. Yeah. And really, I hate starting this thing off like just getting upset with officiating, because it's not really fair considering how well the Spurs shot the ball. And
yeah, they were incredible.
they were so incredible.
Amazing.
They didn't miss a 3 in the first half. Like, I can't even be mad at the Thunder for losing this game. Like, I can't even. I don't know what to get mad about. I mean,
they should have lost it in the first 4 quarters.
Right. You can get mad at the defensive intensity, I suppose, and maybe effort here and there. It's one thing to have a team that's red hot. Like, of course, you can get red hot, but you can also play defense to keep a team from getting to their spots, and the Thunder weren't doing that.
Yeah, and that was like something I was kind of interested in. Like, do you think, like, because it seemed like there was a mixture of the Thunder not rotating and closing out, as well as the Spurs just being goddamn ridiculous and just hitting whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, they were hitting contested, difficult shots, but they also were being left wide open sometimes. Like, did you see anything in particular that was leading to that?
Not
or like
really.
Maybe got them hot?
Not really. I mean, when the bench starts to come in the game, though, defense has really slipped. the past few games. I actually have a stat here from Eric Horn.
Stats.
Eric Horn tweeted it out, so credit to him. The Thunder starters the past 5 games, and this is in the middle of the game. And I don't know if this includes part of this game tonight. I don't know if this stat does or just all the 5 games before. But the Thunder starters in the past 5 games have a 23.5 positive net rating, 85.1 defensive rating. So the starters' defense has been incredible. A 108.5 offensive rating, which is above their overall average. You swap Schroder for Ferguson. Put Schroder in the game. That net rating goes to minus 13.7, a 110.9 defensive rating, and a 97.2 offensive rating.
Trade his ass?
Schroeder's been bad. I mean, I don't think there's any way around it. He hasn't been very good for about a month now.
Yeah, that's like we've brought it up, I think, in the last 3 Aftershocks. I mean, starting, I think it was with that Wizards game, maybe. And then the Timberwolves game. Like, he's just been really not very good.
Yeah.
And like his defensive's slipping. He's not getting people involved very well. And he's just kind of mucking stuff up, it feels like, when he's on the floor.
Which tonight with no Noel, that doesn't help him. When the other starters aren't in the game, that's tough. And he doesn't have shooters to surround him. You and I talked about that last Aftershock. It's tough when you're playing that way. But he's just become a little bit predictable offensively, kind of easy to defend to a certain degree. And defensively is the issue, though. Yeah. He's slipping defensively, and you're starting to see a huge separation between him and Ferguson when they're on the court. Just look at those stats I just told you.
Yeah.
And then if Ferguson's shooting the ball like he shot it tonight, 7 threes, 7 for 10 from 3, Ferguson's a better basketball player than Dennis Schroder. Like if he even if Ferguson makes 4 threes in a night, I think he's a more valuable basketball player than Dennis Schroder.
Yeah, I mean, I never really thought we would see a 7 for 10 from 3 night from Ferguson. Like that's kind of mind blowing. And watching him just with that confidence tonight. Whew.
Yep. Like once that's kind of his thing though, right? Once he sees those first couple drop, he usually has a good game.
Yeah.
It's the Jeremy Lamb effect.
I was thinking the same thing just now.
Yeah.
It's like if he misses the first 2, oh no.
Right. No, I mean it's a great sign going forward for this team, but it's almost like he got too cocky, had that really really bad turnover at the end of the game. The Thunder were probably hurting anyways. They really needed to score that possession, but the ball shouldn't have been in his hands to go try to make a play anyways.
Right, yeah, like in that crucial of situation, like why is he the person trying to be the playmaker?
Right.
Like I like that he was aggressive and stuff, but maybe not then.
Yeah.
And then I guess like
learning
another
experience.
Crucial mistake that happened was when he fouled, I think, Bellinelli on that inbounds play, but I never in my life had heard that rule existed, so
yeah, that rule
didn't even know that.
That rule definitely exists. Weird time to call it. Like you didn't. That's the thing is, that's what I was referring to earlier. But maybe it's a foul, maybe it is. But there were 2 guys jostling for position. Like that's what was happening there. And yeah, Ferguson had his arm down and he was just trying to play defense, but Bellinelli's also shoving his arm up in the air.
Right.
And that's what initiated the foul. So maybe it is a foul, but the only reason the ref saw the foul is because Bellinelli's shoving his arm in the air.
Right.
And then he calls
Give him the old double foul that I hate so much.
Yeah, and then who shoots the free throws and gets the ball, Huh?
10 minutes at the replay booth for that one, bud.
Yeah. Well, then the sticker. You just refer to the sticker.
Right.
It's always first ball. It's just always. Never fails. Career highs all over the place tonight, though.
Oh, yeah.
We mentioned Aldridge, 56 points. Grant, 25 points. Who was sensational and honestly started the game poorly. Didn't play a good first quarter, and I remember thinking to myself during that first quarter and maybe even into the second quarter, he's been struggling a little bit lately. You and I had talked about, God, it doesn't feel like he's been shooting the 3 ball very well lately. He's 1 for 5 tonight. I'd like to pull those numbers, but I don't have the access immediately right now. Turned it on late, and especially stepped up when Steven Adams rolled that ankle, which we'll get to. And defending Aldridge just did the best he could. Does such a good job at taking charges too, and just throwing in little mini flops. And that, I guess that's one thing that you could say went the Thunder's way. If you're talking about
where the charges,
where the charges, because Grant sells those very well, and he got the call. So
there was one where he didn't get the call, and he flew like past the stanchion like 5 feet.
Right.
I was like, I mean, he sold that pretty well, man. He's in the crowd.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a charge.
He's a wild man. Like,
Yeah.
how tall? He's like 6'9", so slender, so athletic. But like you said, he just launches himself into the crowd. Like he's like a rubber band ball of a human. That's
like
what
a Stretch Armstrong.
He is like a Stretch Armstrong. How Steven Adams though, rolled ankle. Can't help but think that hurts.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
right.
Two bigs in the last 2 games.
That on one hand, going forward, in the ankle roll itself didn't really look that severe, right?
Yeah. Yeah, except for like if you take into account that he's like almost 300 pounds and 7 foot tall.
Right.
Like then it probably is worse
than that.
Because he is.
Yeah.
But like when it showed the replay of it, I was like, well, it's not like, because at first when he dropped, I was like, oh shit, that looks terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't look like he really went over, like rolled over on it or anything. It just kind of like tweaked a little oddly. So I don't know. Like I could see them holding him out if they need to, though. Like, I mean, he came back in, so
that's what's weird. So that's what I'm confused. He comes back in, then he goes back out and back to the locker room, and then he comes back in.
So they were saying he was kind of just in the like entryway, and I think the trainers were working on him. So I think they were just trying to make sure the swelling didn't keep going up or something.
But isn't a way to keep the swelling down to just keep playing on it and just take care of it afterwards? Like that's
probably
that's what seems like I've always heard. It was amazing when he came back on the court too.
I was so excited.
It was just like he was a hero walking out of the locker room. It was like, oh, we're winning this shit now. God.
Did though.
So many great moments we could have pointed back to if the Thunder would have pulled this one out. And I think what might hurt more than anything is the minute distribution. And how does that carry over into Saturday where you play the same team?
Mm-hmm.
You had one of your best offensive performances of the year, especially through the first four quarters. But 47 minutes from George, 44 from Grant, 38 from Adams, which is pretty low considering how many minutes here, and obviously the injury. 50 from Russell Westbrook, 41 from Terrance Ferguson, 36 from Dennis Schroder. And the bench just plays the same normal amount of minutes. When
12 for them.
Yeah. When Adams first left the game, they tried rolling with Patterson. That
didn't work.
Quickly, nope, that's not going to work. So then they rolled with Grant, and Grant did a really good job, I thought, at center. He did about as good as you can ask him to do. And there was part of me when Adams was coming back where I was like, I wonder if we had a little something going there with Grant, if we were throwing him off a little bit. But
yeah.
You got to roll with who's going to be able to keep Aldridge out of the paint, and that was going to be Adams.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was the move, and they still did. Like Grant would get onto him sometimes, and then Adams would kind of show some help, which I think did throw him off a little bit. Like there was a couple possessions where that seemed to work, and then Terrance kind of like running back there to double him. Mm-hmm. Was probably our most effective thing, but
honestly, the Thunder may have started doing that. They may have implemented the doubling a little too late. It might,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because it was working. I mean, to an extent, Aldridge was on fire all night long. He was 20 for 33, so it really wasn't working that well. But it was working better than him making every single shot he took.
Right. Yeah, because we couldn't stop him for like a good stretch of time.
16 for 16 at the line too for Aldridge.
Goddamn ridiculous.
So. Last game, Wiggins shoots 18 free throws. This game, Aldridge shoots 16 free throws. Thunder got to stop fouling, man.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. That's a big problem.
Let's talk about Westbrook's game a little bit. Career high 24 assists. We mentioned all the career highs tonight. 24 points, 24 assists, 13 boards, 11 for 22 shooting. Did go 0 for 4 from 3. 1 3 would have been nice. Probably would have won the Thunder the game.
Probably.
2 for 5 at the line. What the shit is going on there? I don't know, but whatever. Let's just focus on the rest of his game. I thought he was awesome tonight for the most part, man. He was really, really good, and he just not often is Westbrook the guy that has the calming effect on the team. Tonight he was that guy that just settled them down. Things were getting out of hand, down 11, down 12. Here comes Westbrook. Layup, makes a play. Boom, back to 5, and you're like, damn, okay. You just keep waiting for him to go wild, man, and he never really did. He just kind of stayed within himself.
Yeah, I mean, his decision making tonight was incredible to me. Like, and one thing about him calming the team down, like I remember there was those where they were just running back and forth, and it would get kind of out of hand, and then Russ would just kind of walk the ball up and like chill everybody out, and I was like, don't know the last time I've seen him just start doing that when everything's just in mayhem. He usually is like, fuck yeah, mayhem.
Right.
Let's do this.
He's like the all-state guy.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there was several times where he would, he had a wide open three and he started, like he took, I think, two of them and then started to kind of pump on them and drive. And if he didn't have a drive available, he would kick it or toss it over to Steve. And like, it was perfect. Like there was a moment where in the last however many close games we've had, he would have absolutely just taken the open three, but he chose to take a layup and make the two and got it within one. I think that was at the end of the fourth, but everything's run together at this point. So.
Right. Made a lot, or made the right play so many times tonight in crucial situations. Like the one that sticks out the most, I think, is going to be that offensive rebound tip he had where he goes back and gets the ball himself, and then he goes in and he makes the pass to Grant for the alley-oop layup that ties the game. Like that was a great moment. And another one that sticks out is one where he, as you were talking about, where he had an open look from three, and he totally normally would have taken it. Instead, he throws a skip cross-court pass to Terrance Ferguson, who knocks down a big three.
That was amazing. Like, it was so cool that he had trust in Ferguson. So cool that Ferguson hit the shot. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just incredible.
Just a lot of cool.
Just so cool. It was cool and incredible and great.
I can't help but feel like we were missing a little something from Paul George tonight. Thought he could have been better, man. I know 30 points is normally good, but this is a double overtime game. I mean, your team scored 147 points, and you only had 30 of them, and that's normally what you do when the team scores 98 points. So, it
was a little weird.
A lot to be desired from his performance, I thought, especially down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, in overtime, like you had mentioned earlier, like he had 7 points, 2 for 7, 1 for 3 from 3. Like, it just didn't feel like he could get going, really. Like, I don't know. Like, it didn't even feel like he really was trying to get to the ball, or like, I don't know. Like, he just couldn't produce there. And it was like he was a ghost, kind of.
Yeah, like he wasn't really finding his rhythm. And then I felt like to find his rhythm, what they were trying to do is force him the ball. Yeah. They had a little something going in overtime, though, where they were like kind of getting him the ball top of the key and getting him in a pick and roll situation with Grant, and good things were happening. They weren't pretty. Like they weren't making a lot of shots off of it. It was mostly like getting to the line, just kind of mucking up the game a little bit, playing Thunder basketball. But I don't know. That worries me a little bit. Maybe he was forcing a little bit. Maybe he feels that weight on his shoulders. Like, okay, I'm the guy now. I'm the scoring guy on this team. I need to do this, and maybe the pressure gets to him a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, just think about that and one that we were talking about that got taken away. Like, that's a different story at that point. Like, he had a shot that went in and then took it. And then also, I mean, that. On those 2 free throws that Steven shot, like, I thought that was a genius move by him to just bounce it off the rim back to himself. He got it out to PG, who had a great look, and it just didn't go in. So
yeah, he had a couple good looks down the stretch that just didn't go in for him. Yeah, I mean that's just how it goes. I thought the Spurs had a lot of good looks that didn't go in the first overtime for him, and the Thunder couldn't capitalize on it. Everything just can't go the Thunder's way right now. We're in the stretch. I mean, okay, so let's go here. Let's look a little bit bigger picture than just this game. I mean, 3 in a row? You dropped 3 in a row. The Thunder have lost their identity completely in these 3 games, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what we were talking about last night, or was it? I don't know when it was. The Timberwolves game.
It was a day.
Whatever. Is basically they just haven't been playing to that defensive identity. Like in this game, like you were mentioning, they basically were in a shootout with a team that was shooting 86%. Not what you want. But I mean, they somehow, like, it's just incredible that they managed to stay in this one. But like overall, like it does seem like they need to get back to those fundamental things that were working for them so well. Like rebounding, they've been out rebounded by a lot in like the 3 last games, and
yeah, they didn't get out rebounded tonight.
That's good. It ended up evening out.
It did end up evening out, but the
so
point is still there. The point is still there, though.
Yeah, it's just like not been a calling card for them like it has been. You know what I mean? It's usually they're like pretty dominant in that area, and defensively they're pretty dominant. like tonight. Well, that's just overtimes, but like as far as turnovers go, it seemed like the Spurs were basically playing Thunder defense against us in the first part of the game. And it was like they had the intensity that we usually bring, and I don't know, it's just a little disturbing.
Well, especially because they were happening back to back to back, and that's kind of what happened on those Bellinelli triple threes that he hit in that first quarter. That I mean, the Spurs just had moments tonight where they got the crowd rocking, and they just, it's hard to overcome things like that as a team on the road against a good team, not just a good team, but a team that's been playing really, really well lately. So you had that, you had the huge DeRozan dunk in the first quarter. The Spurs had two separate runs in the first quarter, one 10-zip and another 14-zip. I mean, you could look back as far as that if you wanted to about the difference in this game. But I think the identity thing is an issue right now. But to me, I'm not going to take these last three games as I'm not going to run with that. I'm not going to say this is who this team is anymore because I'll take the bigger sample size over that. And they've shown us more over a larger amount of games before these past three games.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, it's an 82-game season. That's something I feel like we always need to remind ourselves of because it's easy to get stuck in these like little 3-game losing streaks or whatever. And
especially when you do a podcast after every single one of them.
Yeah, and it's just like, this is the end of everything. We're screwed.
Yeah. Well, it does feel that way right now.
Yeah, but I mean, like they really did play a solid game tonight. Like. And I feel like Russ was incredible. And like it's a little worrisome about PG not maybe stepping up in that moment that you kind of need him to. But I think like they're going to go through struggles like this, and it's going to end up helping the team grow in the end.
I hope so.
Which is kind of like coaches always say that stuff, but I think there is some merit to it. Like it's cliche, but there's some merit there.
They say it's not just BS, right? It hasn't been said for years and years and years just because it's BS and it's something to say. I mean, maybe there's a little BS to it a lot of times, like last year. That Thunder team last year felt like BS a lot of times. But yeah, I mean, you say the Thunder played a pretty good game tonight, and yeah, it's hard. But like, did they? The Spurs shot 57%. Did they? I don't know. But the Spurs made some crazy shots, so maybe they did. It's really hard to look at this game and take anything away from it, big picture. But I think the scarier thing is that the schedule just continues to ramp up, and every missed opportunity feels inflated right now because of that, how close the West is. And you had a good shot at first place a few games ago, and now you're slipping.
Yeah, right. And you have to play this team again on Saturday.
Right.
And if Adams happens to not be able to be playing the game, what the hell are you going to do against Aldridge?
I kind of thought we were going to see Abrinas tonight, but I guess he didn't travel with the team. I never really saw.
I don't know. I heard that he was like tweeting, or he's been with the team, I guess, the whole time. He was playing soccer the other day.
That sounds like a lie.
He seems fine, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems like a lie too. I don't know. Where is he? He's like Waldo. He even looks like Waldo. No one knows.
Show us a picture of him.
He should definitely dress as Waldo for Halloween next year. But Nader, his replacement, great game. Only plays 12 minutes, 4 for 4 from the field. Gets lost defensively, but you know what? If he plays decent offense, you can handle it.
Yeah, and every game he plays, he kind of shows a little something that I didn't know he could do. Like,
he's either terrible or pretty really good.
Yeah.
There's no in between with him.
Yeah, and he just has some like kind of okay offensive moves that you don't expect from a guy that looks like him, I guess.
Yeah. What do you mean? Is that like you being racist?
No.
I'm just kidding. Just like he's kind of slower. He's not super athletic. He's not. Yeah. There's nothing about him that stands out.
Standard guy who's like NBA 2K.
Someone tweeted at us the other day and said he reminds them of Paul Pierce, and I was like, I don't know where you're getting at.
Don't see it.
What do you mean? In what way? Like, just in what single way does he remind you of Paul Pierce?
I don't see anything there.
Let's go back to big picture. What's your worry level with this team? Scale of 1 to 10. 1 being not worried at all, 10 being okay. I'm officially really worried about this team.
Probably like a 4. I'm not very high. Like I'm kind of what you were saying earlier. Like I'm kind of on that boat. Like this is just kind of a little rut they're in right now, and nothing's really going their way in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a really good point because it feels like nothing is going their way.
Yeah, like I mean, they're getting bit by an injury bug.
Mm-hmm.
They're having some weird calls go against them. Some like random luck just isn't happening, and it's hard to.
So I think your 4 is kind of saying to me that in the back of your mind, there's a little worry there that, maybe it was a little bit of fool's gold those first 30 games. Like that worry's back there, but it's not at the forefront of your brain.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't appreciate you bringing up my deepest, darkest fears like that, but
I want to be real. I want to be real with the audience. You want to do some questions?
Yeah, let's do some.
We can do these in YouTube, right? And in
the
Twitter.
So if you guys live have any questions, send them in. I've seen a couple. Luke Allard from YouTube says, "Do y'all see Presti making another move before the deadline?"
Yes.
Yes. All right.
He hasn't made one though, so it wouldn't be another. It'd just be
the first one.
But yeah, no, I honestly that's where I will say something absolute that I think he has to make a move. You have to get someone that can shoot the ball, man. And tonight this team shot the ball well. It's not going to happen very often.
Yeah. He went and got T-Ferg, bro. We're good.
But you get T-Ferg, and then like to your point, nothing's going well for the team. Well, Grant starts sliding down and not shooting the ball very well, and just little things like that. They can't. Everything just can't go right at once for this team.
Yeah. Why not?
I don't know. # why not?
All right. So we had about 400,000 questions about the refs.
Yeah.
But
right.
This one was funny. Cody Lynn Hara at Cody Lynn 22. Did the NBA refs drop a blueprint before every season in a secret meeting on how to screw over the Thunder?
It feels like it sometimes.
It definitely does.
Like, obviously we're fans. We're watching the games as fans, but we also, I think, try to do our best to watch it and not watch it with such bias that we can't look past certain things. We don't want to say, oh my God, the fans are completely screwing the Thunder. No, I don't think, the refs are completely screwing the Thunder. I don't think the refs are screwing the Thunder intentionally, but goddamn, it sure feels like it sometimes. And it's really hard to watch these last few games and not feel like something, like whether the Thunder's complaining gets under the ref's skin, and I don't know. Maybe there's something there.
Yeah. Justin Wright 26 from YouTube. That's Justin.
Who's that?
Yes, turkey or ham?
I'm a ham guy.
Turkey here. Love turkey.
Yeah.
It's way better.
It's the wrong answer. So someone here, I don't know how to say it. Privi03, should OKC trade for Kevin Love? This is interesting. I think that we haven't even talked about this.
That's true.
Kevin Love's going to be a trade candidate. A lot of people think he makes like
a bunch of money.
A lot of $20 million, 20-something, 30-something $million, whatever. He's hurt all the time. He doesn't really play defense. He's probably still a pretty good offensive player. I don't even remember what it's like watching him play, to be honest, though.
It's been a bit. It
has been a while. Seems like he fits in well with this team, but
he can shoot.
You're gonna have to give up a decent amount to get him because of the salary. So Schroder might have to be involved. Robertson might have to be involved. Grant might have to be involved. Two of those three guys are probably gonna have to be involved in that trade. Are you for going after that, or is that a no?
I don't know. I'm a little hesitant on that one, just because there's the injury history for one, and then the whole aspect of if you're playing Houston and Golden State, is he able to play? Like, you kind of go back to that thing we had when we had Cantor. It's like, are you actually useful to us in the largest moments that we're going to need?
Right. Because
and if you're a $50 million player or whatever that can't play, that sucks.
Yes. And because honestly, if you have him and Adams on the same team, it feels like, which by the way, Adams, I guess, could be another one that you could trade for Love, but I'm not for that in any way, shape, or form. So if you still have Adams and you get Kevin Love somehow, I feel like I'd trust Adams on the floor more than I trust Kevin Love on the floor defensively against a lot of those teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? I mean, then you just have a giant,
have a bunch of money sitting on the bench.
Exactly. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah. Aaron Young, this is kind of on those trade things. He asked, has Schroder become our biggest trade asset? Which we've talked about a lot.
I know. I don't think he's your biggest asset. I mean, I think that he's a candidate. Maybe that's kind of what he's meaning, is your biggest trade candidate. I would say yes. If that's the question. But asset, nah. I think Diallo's a better asset. Obviously, Steven Adams is a better asset. Paul George and Russell Westbrook, you don't consider them trade assets. That's not what they are. I even think Ferguson's a better trade asset than Dennis Schroder.
Yeah. All right. Andrew at Andrew Milhar. Reasons to not jump from the 5th floor after this game.
Oh my gosh. Well,
we gave you a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun game.
I feel like we gave you a bunch. Russ had a great game.
Yeah, come on, dude.
24 assists. That's fun.
Step away. Close the window.
Yeah, just go close that window. Play some 2K.
No, don't do that, because then if you lose, you're gonna be even more sad.
Yeah, never mind. Turn that shit off.
That's a bad
Just
idea.
Go to bed. And,
no, don't do that either.
Tomorrow.
You got to do something that you enjoy before you go to bed. So, what's something you enjoy?
A 12:35 a.m. activity.
Yeah. Do some
jumping jacks.
Yeah, do some jumping jacks. Do some somersaults.
That'll make you feel better.
Go cook a burrito. Do you cook a burrito? Is that how that works?
Yeah, it sounds right. Luke Helms at Luke the Duke 4550. Why has defense been crippling as of late? I mean, I think you kind of nailed a lot of it with that Schroder stat, but what else has been
it's
going
hard
on?
to believe that it's entirely Schroder, though, right? I mean,
yeah.
I was thinking about it tonight a little bit, and this team really hangs its hat on turnovers and forcing turnovers, and I wonder at what point do you get to where you're like, wow, we're really good at forcing turnovers, and then you kind of go for the turnovers, and you're just like, well, this is our game. We just get turnovers, and then you start going for those turnovers, and you're probably going to be out of position a little more often than not because you're just cheating a little bit, and teams catch you cheating, and they're going to make you pay in the NBA. Do
you think the other teams are starting to scout what Billy's been doing scheme-wise this year and starting to figure it out?
Definitely. I mean, that's an ongoing thing. I think across the league that you just kind of have to try to stay ahead. But like you said, like you made the point. I mean, you're going to go through these little ruts, and I think that's exactly what this is, and it's an ugly one, especially the 2 games prior to this. But I don't know. I'm interested to see Saturday. If they lose Saturday and they lose 2 in a row to San Antonio and 3 in a row at home, I'll be a little worried. I'll be a little worried about this team. Here's one from TMW Nate. Could we trade for Josh Richardson? I'll go ahead and answer that. I'd say no. You'd have to give up a whole bunch. I don't know why the Heat would want to trade him. He might be their very best asset. I mean,
yeah,
that guy's like
he's
Andre
become
Robertson
very good.
souped up. That's like if Andre Robertson was really a really solid offensive player.
So they would just ask us for Andre Robertson in return, and then they'd be like, "Damn, what do we do?"
Yeah. And Josh Richardson is from Edmond, though.
Yeah, he's got those hometown roots, so bring him back. Shugs at Nshug says, we have the toughest remaining schedule of any team. Do you expect us to finish in the top 4? Which is so hard to even speculate on just because of how insane the West is, but
I say yes. I still say yes.
I like it.
Even if it's 4, I expect that out of this team. We've seen some really good things out of this team this year. And I want to see those continue, and I expect them to continue. This team is very talented, and they're built really well. Obviously, they lack shooting. I expect Presti to make a move and help that out, and hopefully not give up too much to bring it in. So, yeah, I totally expect that. I think it's fair to expect that, by the way. I don't think that's setting too high of expectations.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they've played to that level. They should be there. Aaron at ayount_15, he had a Twitter question, so he gets double the questions in today.
Wow.
What is his team's ceiling with 1 or 2 lethal shooters from 3? Western Conference Finals?
Yeah, I mean, definitely at least Western Conference Finals. If you have 2 lethal shooters from 3, in addition to who's already on the team, I'm guessing is what he means. And not giving up anyone, then that's huge. It's like add in Wayne
also,
Ellington.
incredible job, Sam.
Yeah. I mean, don't put
Such a good job.
Don't put him out, so we might do it. Yeah, this team has to get. They have to get a shooter.
Agreed. Let's see. Last one. Mac Vicar in Carolina at Vale Tech. Is this hot?
Well.
Yeah, it's far away. Is this hot streak from Ferg a promising sign of what he could become as a reliable 3-and-D guy?
Good question.
How much faith you got in this moving forward?
I have a lot of faith in it. Weirdly, a lot of faith in it. Like, right? Isn't Ferguson like he's showing some serious promise right now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's had multiple games this year where you're like, okay, and saw something tonight. I think it was from a friend of the show, Jayson Potter. And this is before the 7 for 10 tonight, so I'd actually need to update this. It's going to be a higher number. But this is at one point in the game. He's shooting 40% from 3 since November 1st.
God damn.
It sounds like he should be getting the guy more shots, to be honest.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, it seems like they have been lately too.
All right, before we get off here, this is kind of the plan going forward, right, Jayson?
That's right.
We want to do this. We want to maybe offer it for free. A couple of these, make sure we just kind of nail down exactly. Make sure this goes smoothly. Seems like it went pretty smoothly tonight.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to keep improving it, like we have the entire show throughout our existence. And we're going to put these on Patreon, and there's a link below if you want to click that and help support the show, because we do put a lot of work into it, and every single dollar you give us, man, it helps out so much. When we reinvest it into the show, we appreciate you guys a whole bunch. And there's a lot of perks that come with it. You'll get access to these that you won't get, like you're getting tonight. You won't get this unless you're a member of the Patreon. You'll get an extra podcast a month. You'll get a Thunderheads t-shirt. You'll get ad-free podcasts if we throw in some ads in our shows. So there's a lot of cool perks that you'll get if you go sign up. So go do that. Patreon.com/Thunderheads. Thunder have San Antonio again on Saturday. We are back on Sunday with a full show. Catch you guys then. Thunder up. It's a little awkward. I forgot to stop